Good morning and welcome to Jour du Galop. It's our Wednesday show on Inside News, and myself and Shaheel, we're going to talk a little bit about last meeting and then obviously the barrier trials and some training shots for this week coming. Right, let's start off with Saturday, Shaheel. It was the Golden Trophy. It's normally the lead up to, well, the sort of final race to the lead up of the Maiden Cup. I think probably one or two horses might just have another run, but it gave us more or less an idea about the Maiden Cup. Opera Royal, well, I mean, look, he did carry 53 on his back. He's going to be carrying level weight now, so it's going to be a lot tougher. But it was a very good win by Opera Royal. I thought it was once again another good ride from Manuel Nunes.
Yeah, exactly what I've written. Good ride by Nunes because he took full advantage of that slow weight and he made that early wide move just to avoid traffic problems. Great ride by Manuel Nunes. But we must say, Enad and Nebula, they showed promise and they'll be big runners come the maiden.
Yeah, I mean, Opera Royal, he's qualified for the maiden. I would imagine he's going to take his place there. I've also written on the same thing, Shaheel. Two runners that caught my eye, obviously Nebula, a little bit of a controversial ride as far as Facebook is concerned. Anyway, it was a good run, and his horse that stays well. He had the 59.5, so he was 6.5 kilos better off with Opera Royal. And then the champion, the champion Stayer. Going well, he's vying for his three wins of the Maiden Cup, and I have to say that was a terrific run. And I said on Friday that obviously we'll know where we are. Well, not where we are. The stable would know where they are with Enad. That was a terrific run with top weight, 61 kilos. He got beat just over a length.
Probably not 100%.
Yeah, and this run will just
bring him on.
Sort of just peak now. You know,
yes.
There's only 3.5 weeks left for the maiden, and.
He's coming right at the right time.
Yeah, and I mean, I must be honest, I'd love to see a horse pull off three
maidens in a row, which has never been done ever.
Yep, and well, obviously it's going to be a lot tougher because one horse we haven't spoken about is White River.
We're going to speak about him later on.
Yeah, we've got him in the training shot later on. He's really doing well, and you'll see later that they are starting to prepare him for the maiden. I put here if he runs, but I reckon he's definitely going to be I think he's going to take part. You know, obviously the big question mark is who's going to ride White River, because we all saw what happened. A controversial weekend as far as the Rameshwar Gujadhur and Pierre Stradom was concerned. He did get 6 weeks for his ride on Man from Seattle, plus 50,000 rupees. And obviously he was fined under not riding to the satisfaction of the
racing
stewards. Yeah. I have to say, I went and watched the race yesterday. I'd like to reserve judgment. I thought he was quite lucky to only get 6 weeks, to be honest with you. But that's how it goes. I mean, top jockey came here, didn't really... well, I suppose he did all right. He rode 10 winners for 50 rides. But there were quite a couple of controversial rides, and not from my point of view. I've never ever judged anyone's rides. It just hasn't been a great sort of.
I think he's obviously not getting used to the Shadowmouse track because, like, every time they were saying on Facebook that he doesn't like the fence or whatever. So probably the Shadowmouse track was not the best for him.
Yeah. Anyway, well, good luck to Pierre for the future. He'll probably be going back to South Africa and. Probably finish his career. He doesn't have many years left of riding, so let's see how he goes. All right, and then Manuel Nunes, he's 2 winners clear of Derek David now, and looks like the favourite to lift the Jockeys Championship if all goes well.
Yeah, that's right, and like we were saying last week with those Amos Udell horses transferring to the Urchan yard, he'll be having a lot more stronger yard now.
Yeah, that's going to boost the chances of Manuel Nunes. I personally can't see him losing the championship if obviously all goes well towards the end of the season. Rameshwar Gujadhur, he's $1.25 million clear now, and he's also doing very well to probably win. Will this be his first championship? I think it's probably, from what I understand, I think it probably could be his first championship as a stable, and obviously with White River in his artillery, he must have a big chance of lifting that. All right, 2 horses to follow. The first horse I want to talk about is Ticket Holder. He had some terrific form in South Africa, this horse, and he with the win in the 2 seconds, and he was even considered good enough to run in that R1 million race on July Day. But I think it was behind that was Give It Some, and there were no excuses for his poor run. I went back and had a look, and I just couldn't understand. I was a little bit surprised with such a bad run. And Saturday showed his true form. He really ran a good race. Imran Chisti got him in a perfect position. and he sort of he quickened up nicely. But I think the winner and the second horse, they look like they're two nice horses. Gunston and I forget the winner. Dollar Tractor, yes. And two nice horses that he's finished behind. And I think now that second run under the belt in a very similar sort of field in that benchmark, I think that we could see this horse Ticket Holder winning a race soon. Like I said, he's got some very solid South African form. He's a lot better than his first run. I think he's even better than his second run as well. This run's going to bring him on terrifically. I'm going to keep an eye on Ticket Holder from the Patrick Mervyn stable. Right, Shaheel, the horse that caught your eye, in fact he caught my eye as well, was Ziggy Zaggy Zuggy.
Yeah, obviously he was a horse that I fancied on Friday afternoon. I did follow him back in South Africa because he has some good form. He has only 4 starts in South Africa for the 4 places. He's still a young horse with a lot of potential, I reckon. He broke out well, he's shown pace, and he went to the front. But once Zenzero came upside him, we knew that the cat was in the bag for Emmanuel Nunes. But I was surprised, isn't that how the way he just quickened up again at the top of the stretch. Yeah. Unfortunately, he was hanging in a little bit, and Brandon Louis didn't assist him properly. But I'm sure with some more racing experience and he can go over ground too, because he's raced on 1200 up to 1400. So with more racing experience, I'm sure Ziggy Zaggy Zuggy will definitely bring some 1 or 2 wins here.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, he was placed in all his runs in South Africa. He was
four
placed here
runs,
as well.
4 places. Yeah.
Yeah. So looks like Ziggy Zaggy Zuggy, he could pull off a win pretty soon. He's rated 26, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So maybe in one of those 0.26 or 61.5 in a 0.25, he could be just too good for them.
Too good for them, yeah.
All right, let's talk about the barrier trial. There were 4 of them. We're going to go through all 4 of them. The first one we talk about is the Grey Crusader from the Rameshwar stable. He had the red. In fact, he had blinkers first time. You can't miss him. It's a grey horse with the red blinkers. Icebreaker from the Main Guard stable. He had the green jacket. And then Face the Fire from Raj Ramtin. He had the yellow jacket. Let's talk about the Grey Crusader. 3rd time lucky. He's been to the stalls twice, this horse. The first time he dislodged his jockey, and then last time he sort of got left quite badly. But nice to see him jump on terms. He stood quietly, he jumped on terms, and he galloped quite well, this horse. And even though it took him 15 starts to win his first race back in South Africa, I think he's going to be all right, this horse. He looks like, especially from his gallop yesterday, he's not very highly rated in the ratings. And he could be all right, the Grey Crusader from the Rameshwar stable. Right, then Icebreaker. Well, it took a long time to try and find this horse's form. Couldn't find it on form grids. Couldn't find it on the turf, on the MTC. Eventually, I did find, but you have to I might be standing at correction here. I see he's had 1 run and he ran 2nd, but I couldn't confirm that. So I think we're just going to have to wait a little bit longer and see if we can confirm the horse's form, Icebreaker. But obviously he was bought as a 3-year-old. He's rated 26. He's now turned 4. He must be a maiden being off that rating. But if he is the right horse, he's had 1 run and he's run 2nd. But like I said, I can't confirm that yet. We'll have to wait to see if we get some of his form. And then Face the Fire. Well, he won his 2nd start fairly easily at very generous odds of 36-1. But unfortunately, he hasn't really followed that up. I think he's had 1 very average 4th place after that. So he's still a young horse. He's only rated 29. So we'll see how Face the Fire goes for the Ramdin stable. But nice barrier trial. The Icebreaker sort of really, he impressed me a little bit. And it's nice to see the Grey Crusader jump on terms and gallop nicely there under Rakesh Bogoroti. Let's keep an eye on the Grey Crusader. Right, Shaheel, you saw the 2nd barrier trial. We both saw it, but you want to talk about it?
Yeah, which was a very interesting trial, actually, with Table Bay with a yellow jacket and the blue blinkers, Senatla with a blue jacket and blinkers too, and Manolet, who had a repass with a green jacket. So Table Bay, he jumped very well with the blinkers, and he quickly went up front. He has been very unlucky at the draws this season. He has been drawn his last 3 runs 8, 9, 9. We know how the draws plays a big part out here in Mauritius, so hopefully, even if he gets a bad draw now with the blinkers, he can race into a much more prominent position, and that will help him to make up less ground. So let's see how it goes with the blinkers for Table Bay, but that was a very easy trial for the son of Redute's Choice. Senatla also jumped very well with the blinkers. He followed Table Bay, but wasn't asked to do much. Nuresh always had a tight hold of him. He's got some excellent South African form. He's ran 2nd to Twist of Fate in a Group 3. He's shown promise last time, went 3rd to Good Buddy. and if you remember correctly, he was backed into favoritism that day. So he's just turned 4, and definitely much more better things to come from Zenatla. And Manolet, like I said, he's had a repass. He trialed for the second week in a row. Blinkers this time. He jumped on turn, but it was a bit tough for him to go with these two classy individual. He's still an inexperienced horse with only 4 starts back in South Africa, so I reckon he's going to take some time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Sinatra, I do like the look of this horse, Sinatra. I think he's going to be quite a nice horse. I think he's still a little bit sort of naughty.
He is.
And the penny hasn't dropped, but...
like I said, just turned 4, so...
Yeah, and we'll see how he goes with those blinkers. I think he's probably a candidate for blinkers,
yes.
Sinatra. Right, the third barrier of the afternoon, there's a couple of repasses here. Dunsey from the Dabby Yard, the green jacket. Captain of the Sea, Rameshwar Gujadhur had the red jacket. From the Ashes, from the Sadoil Yard, had the blue. And then Arabian Sea from the Nagadu stable had the yellow jacket. Let's start off with the mare, Dunsey. She's now a 5-year-old mare. She's got some decent form in South Africa, especially over the sprints. And her best form was between 1,000 and 1,200. She's only raced against fillies in South Africa. So it'll be interesting to see how she goes against the boys here in Mauritius. But she looks nice and quick, this filly. And she could possibly win a couple of races here. Captain of the Sea. Well, I thought that was quite a good run first time out. I thought they probably put a little bit too much pressure on this horse in that 990. They forced him from an outside draw. He didn't run a bad race. He only sort of tired that last little bit. And we'll see how he goes, Captain on the Sea. Not exactly sure why he was ordered to repass, but I think he's a nice horse. I remember Carl Neisius telling me when he was here that this is a top horse. So keep an eye on Captain of the Sea. He's a Captain L. And then from the Ashes, Sadoil Yard, blue jacket, blinkers first time, 6 runs this season for 3 wins. The stables have decided to try blinkers on him. And well, let's have a look. He's had the 2 decent runs in the benchmark 46. They're now going to fit him with the blinkers. Let's see how he goes. He has been scratched twice as well this season, so that's a little bit of a worry. But you still can't take away the fact that he's won 3 races already this year from the Ashes. And then Arabian Sea, jumped slow, never really galloped, refused to gallop. And well, he's been off the track for 2 years. And we see exactly how he pulls up and whether or not they're going to bring him back for another gallop soon. But it's been a long time since we've seen Arabian Sea. All right, that was the 4 horses in the third barrier. Shaheel, the 4th and final barrier. Are you going to take care of that?
Yeah, 4 horses again here. Misty Roller from the Pritam Devi stable with a green jacket. Apollo Star with a blue jacket. Head of the pack from the Nagadu Yard with a yellow jacket. And Desert Thief with a red jacket. Misty Roller was tried with the pacifiers. He jumped very well with that equipment and showed good pace. He was under the hands in the stretch, and this was a nice piece of work for the son of Oracy, who is now dropped to the rating of 20, where he should be competitive, a Misty Roller. Apollo Star, he hasn't been seen since the 20th of April this year, where he was slow out of the gates and he finished 7th behind Captain Span Diesel. He's had a nice break of nearly 4 months, but he's back now, and this trial really put him on nicely because he finished off really well against Misty Roller yesterday morning. Head of the pack, he was slow to begin in his trial 3 weeks ago, and he was ordered to repass yesterday. He jumped better, but has some difficulties to follow Misty Roller. He got several crack of the whips, I must say, by Akasha Charles, but still, Apollo Star went past him quite easily in the final stretch. He'll probably need some more time head of the pack. And then Desert Thief, again, he was very slow to begin. He could never made up any ground on the first 3. He will probably need to repass, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I think they're losing the battle with Desert Thief. Yeah, he's just refusing to work, which is a pity really, because it's not cheap to get these horses over here, and they get here and they just refuse to jump, and you have to feel for the stables and the owners. Yeah. All right, those are the 4 barrier trials. Let's go through some sand track work, and we have pinpointed 10 horses. The first horse I want to start off with is the horse that we were talking about earlier on White River. He is the current leader in the horse championship. He worked 2 laps yesterday. He worked the first lap by himself, and then he picked up Captain Ram on the second lap. And I have to say it was very, very impressive work. And he's obviously, by working the 2 laps, it's sort of like indicative that this horse is probably going to be aimed for the Maiden Cup. Remember, it's only 3.5 weeks to go. And he's looking in top form. He looks very fit. He looked brilliant when he walked back to the paddock. And he looks fit. He looks well. And he still remains my first choice for the Maiden Cup this year. And he really looks well, White River. Obviously, the question mark is whether or not Rameshwar will have a jockey by then, or if they might just use another jockey. Derek Davis rid him and won on him.
And as for the whispers, he's probably going to get the ride if they don't get a jockey.
Yeah, because I can't see Vincent Allett with anything. I mean,
I don't think they've got a maiden horse.
Yeah, they didn't have a maiden horse. So I would imagine they got a couple of options.
Yeah.
It would be nice to see Derek David back on him, White River, because I thought he rode him very well in the Duchess. All right, the second horse we want to talk about, you want to talk about, is Boya from the Gujadhur stable.
Yeah, he's looking great, Boya, actually. He ran third to Edith Trail last time. It wasn't such a bad performance. He's very consistent. 4 starts, 2 wins, 1 second and 1 third. He looks to be in great condition these days. He worked really well alongside the Finker yesterday morning with Olivier Placé on board. He's entered in race 4 this week. He's going up in class because he'll be now racing at a benchmark of 51 over 1,400 meters. Soon Gujadhur is 1 winner away from his 501, so let's see if Boya can give him one.
Yeah. Okay, Boya, he's been a model of consistency. Not an easy horse to ride, but maybe with a higher division, he's obviously going to have that lighter weight, so that could be in his favour. Right, also I want to talk about is in the lower divisions is Anzo Barriga. And he's placed in his last 3 starts. Ever since I fitted him with the blinkers, he's really improved this horse. And he's, like I said, he's run places all the last 3 times with those blinkers. Last time was a very good second to Dark Force, who I thought was probably the best horse in the race. Just wasn't sure not how fit he was going to be, but he obviously was fit enough. I thought Pravish Haril rode Dark Force very well that day. But Anzo Barriga not far behind him. He's back in a 0.20 this week, hopefully with a better draw, because he was drawn quite badly last time. He could pull off his first win of his career, and I like the way he worked with Uncle JB yesterday, and he looks like he's close to winning this horse, Anzo Barriga. Right, Shaheel, the champion 3-year-old, or one of the champion 3-year-olds, and possibly, in my opinion, was the best 3-year-old last season, ruled the night.
Yeah, who's now turned a 4-year-old. He's still in great shape. He worked alongside Varanella under his usual rider, Kirsty Ramsamy, and he easily had the better of Varanella. He's a winner of 4 starts of 5, and he was very unlucky not to win.
Yeah, should have been 5 out of 5.
Yeah, because of that Manuel Nunes incident with the stirrup. He's looking great. He'll probably race next week in the Hinterland Cup, not enter this week, but roll the night. I'm sure he can go 5 on 6 next week.
Yeah, I agree with you. He's a top horse, and he really has. He's one of those horses really enjoying Mauritian racing.
He is, yeah.
And he's a nice horse that ruled the night, and very happy for Mr. Pedro.
Hopefully, if he wins the Hinterland Cup next week, he can probably go on to the Princess Margaret Cup. That would be nice for him.
Yeah, and he definitely would be a runner there as well. I mean, he wouldn't be out of place. Right. But down to the Jean-Michel Henry stable, well, down or up, I don't know exactly where he is on the road, but Jean-Michel Henry, Virtue, 2 excellent runs after winning his first race here. I believe he's above average this horse, and he's just had some bad luck with the draws last time. Terrible draw. He was beaten. Well, he has beaten Waltag, and then obviously Waltag came and beat him as well. This Saturday, there's no Waltag. He's entered, and I think he's back. Yeah, he's back in a 1400. If he draws well, he could take a power of beating. That was good work next to Titsikama Dance. I know you wanted to talk about Titsikama Dance, but for our viewers, he's there working right next to Virtue. I know that you liked the work of Titsikama Dance. I liked him strongly last time, Titsikama Dance. He really sort of disappointed me.
Yeah, probably the blinkers. Don't know if that equipment will remain on him.
Yeah, it remains to be seen. But both those horses, Virtue and Titsikama Dance, both working well and both worthwhile following. Right, and then a horse, Edge of the Sun. I went to go see a friend of mine. He's got a shop in the north, and he was telling me that he had a big bet on Edge of the Sun last time, and he was so disappointed that he got beat on the line, Edge of the Sun. What do you think of his training?
He's doing really promising. Bright start to his Mauritian career with 1 win and 1 second place. What I can say to your friend is he was a bit unlucky last time when he was thrown.
That's why he was crying. He thought he just crunched the ticket up and went home. He was a little bit disappointed.
It's never easy to be drawn 9 out of 10 on 1,000 meters, 990 like we said now. He still finished only 0.35 length of Maximo, which is a very good performance. He obviously didn't suffer from that second run syndrome. I think he's a horse that really has a liking for this 990 distance. But I see that he's won twice over 1,200 meters in Durban, whether that is at Greyville or Scottsville. He's not entered this week. Maybe they're waiting for a 990 for him, or they're probably waiting for the new jockey. Amos Udell has applied for the French jockey Ryan Curatero, who's ridden in the USA and many Asian countries, probably Macau, Singapore, Japan. He has over 300 winners in his career, and he's 27-year-old. So let's see what Amos Udell is waiting for Edge of the Sun.
Yeah, has that jockey been given the green light?
Not yet, I think, but they've applied for it.
Okay, all right. Mr. Pedro, back with him, Al Mariachi, and well, he's one of my favorite horses in Mauritius, Al Mariachi. I like this horse in South Africa. I liked him here. We showed you his impressive barrier last week, and he continues to do well. This horse, he's a beaten favorite in his last 2 starts, but he'll have his say this weekend. It's a 1400, it's a benchmark 71, and I think if he pulls a good draw, he's going to be a big runner on Saturday, and they're going to have to lift their feet to catch Al Mariachi. He's really working well. That barrier trial just sort of fine-tuned him perfectly, and I really think that Al Mariachi is going to be a big run in the feature race on Saturday. I'm hoping he pulls it off, because obviously when you have sort of get a horse that you really like, you like to see them win. You don't like to see them get beat. So Al Mariachi, let's hope all goes well as far as the draws are concerned. I think he's going to be a big runner on Saturday. Right, then my value bet last time, Editor Trail, he's working quite well as well.
He is. I don't think he'll be a value bet next time out, but definitely working well. He showed an excellent turn of foot to win last time, to get the better of Texas Sky, which is no easy task, because when Texas Sky is in front, it takes a good horse to come and grab him, and Editor Trail did that. Even his South African form is good. He ran second to that horse Al Yassad, which I think has been bought by the Gilbert stable for next season, so that just gives you an indication of his form. He's also running a grip-free Politician Stakes, which was won by Twist of Fate. He worked well on his own under Nouresh Jaglal, but he's not entered this week, so probably next week or in the coming weeks, but we have to keep an eye on this Editor Trail.
Yeah, I think he's above
average.
Above average resource, and what I liked about his last win, the way he travelled in the race, he really travelled well,
and he picked up Texas Sky.
You could sort of pick it out a long way out that he was probably going to go on and win the race, and that's what we like to see. Right, my final horse of the morning is Roman Dancer from the Gujadhur stable. He's been placed in his last 3 starts, including a very good second to Vision of Trust last time, and remember that was from a 10 draw. And Vision of Trust finished a very good third on Saturday in a benchmark 36. So that form's pretty solid. And I think if Roman Dancer gets a decent draw, I reckon he could possibly win this race here. Remember, he's a 3-time winner in South Africa as a 2-year-old. So he came here quite a low rating. And I believe he's a lot better than what he's shown us. I think he's just been a little bit unlucky with the draw. And Roman Dancer, he is in a 990 on Saturday. I think he's going to take quite a lot of beating, Roman Dancer. I like the way that he worked yesterday morning. Right, to finalize it, we were talking about Waltag early on with Virtue. That's a horse that you spotted, Waltag?
Yeah, I'll try to beat your favorite Al Mariachi, he's a real model of consistency. 6 start, 4 wins, 2 second in 2019 for Waltag. We all thought that the 1850 was probably a little bit too long for him last time, but he's shown how tough he is by running second in that race. He will definitely appreciate the drop back to the 1400 meters as he's entered in the main race this week. Decent piece of work on his own under Derek David yesterday morning. He should be the horse to beat with only 56.5 kgs on his back.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I reckon we'll have a little bet. I say Al Mariachi finishes in front of Waltag.
All right. We'll see that on Friday.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see how the card pans out, the draws, the races, everything, that sort of thing. And we will be with you on Friday for our show, on the Mark Show. And myself and Shaheel will be going through the card with you as best as we can. Hopefully, we have a better meeting than we did last week. I think I tipped one winner in about 7 seconds. And it was a tough week. There was a carryover pick 8, so that's something to look forward to next week. Well, this week, I beg your pardon. And like I said, myself and Shaheel will try our best to find you as many winners as we possibly can. Thanks very much for joining us. Catch you up on Friday. Goodbye.